Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from AnthonysCustoms, and for this review, we are looking at the 4 Horsemen Mythic Legions ORN STEELHIDE. This is one of the dwarf characters, so he's a lot shorter and has a lot of different parts on him, so it's really cool. He has some of the same accessories as the other ones, but all in all, it's a very unique figure, especially since he's kind of short. So I do like this guy a whole lot. He's got a lot of nice paintwork and some sculpt work, so let's get him off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands to the top of his head only about 5.5 inches. The wings take him up to about 6.5, which makes him just about 14.5 centimeters or 17 centimeters to the top of these things right here. So he's definitely shorter, but as you can see, he's a really cool looking figure, and he has most of the same articulation. But before we get into that, let's talk accessories. Technically, this head is an accessory because he's got an interchangeable head. The cool thing about that is you can rotate these guys around because you can actually remove them. I kind of like rotating them around just for the look of it, but you can actually remove them and swap out the head. So we have that head, and then we also have this head, which I have to say, I kind of like the look of it without those things. You can leave them off if you want to, but if you want to pop them on, obviously, you can do that. You just push them in, and there you go. You have those things. Now, we're going to not leave this head on for the review because the beard takes up too much space, and we're going to leave the little ear things off also. But you'll see in the photos at the end how he looks with those pieces. So we also have some accessories which are basically the same as the ones from the other figure that we already looked at. They're pretty cool though. I like them. This is the axe again, but it's got a different paint job, and of course it has the interchangeable piece. So if you want to have the axe with both of those instead of the spike, you can do that. We do have the plain old spear again, which is not the most interesting, but it is included and it's nicely sculpted. And we have a little small sword, which is nicely done with a little purple handle, so that's pretty cool. He has the little strap back here, which can hold the sword or the spear, whatever you want. So pretty cool set of accessories and a pretty cool figure. You can also count the shoulder pads as accessories because you can remove them if you want to. So that both helps for the articulation because they can obviously move around and they're floaty kind of, so you can move the arm around pretty well. Or you can remove them all together and have a different looking figure, so it's pretty nice. I'm going to pop them off just for the sake of the review. For the head, we just have a ball peg that will rotate around, so it's kind of a cool design. That will spin around this way, as you can see. And then we have the ball peg for the head itself, which allows it to move fairly freely. You can lean side to side, up and down, not a ton, but enough. And then, of course, it rotates also. For the shoulders, we have the fixed hinge. Doesn't go quite horizontally, but it's not too bad. And you can rotate the arm around. Of course, the shoulder pads can inhibit the range of motion a little bit, but it's not terrible. We have the hinge in the elbow, which gives you about 90 degrees, so that's not too bad. And then, of course, there's no bicep swivel in here, but you can rotate around at the elbow. So it's really not too bad. I'm all right with it. For the hands, we have a swivel and a hinge. And for the torso, we have a ball peg that lets the entire thing move around. Only problem is, he doesn't fit on it quite as well as I would like. He can pop off fairly easily, but I guess that's all right. It's not going to break or anything. It's not like it's super loose, so it's not really a big deal, but you can move him around pretty well. It's not too bad. This is all a floating piece and it's nice and soft, so it won't get in the way at all, and it looks really nice. And for the hips, you can bring them forward and back, and then you have a hinge going out to the side. Obviously, if you look under the skirt thing, it doesn't look great down there, but you do get that range of motion, and you can't tell when everything's in place. You do have a thigh swivel in there, which is nicely done, hidden in the armor, and you have a knee hinge, which can also rotate. So you really shouldn't have too much trouble posing this guy. The knee goes about 90 degrees. And then for the ankles, we have that same ball hinge as the other figure, which does provide pretty good range of motion. I'm really happy about that. You get a really nice ankle rocker out of it. And really, you shouldn't have too much trouble posing this guy. Really, the only thing that will be somewhat limiting is the shoulder pad, shoulder armor. Because when you bring the arm forward, it has to kind of move out of the way, and it could bump into the head a bit. But as you can see, it works pretty well, and I'm really pleased with this figure, and I think you guys will be too. So if you're thinking about getting any of the ones that are still available at Big Bad Toy Store, I suggest you do so, because they look really good. They're really nice figures, and they're a lot of fun to have. If you are not adverse to avert, that's not, I don't know what I'm trying to say. If you don't mind buying generic figures, because obviously there's not like a licensed IP for these, they're really cool, and I have to say I recommend them. They look really, really nice, and they're fun to play with. So there you go, guys. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I have new videos every single day. We talk about action figures, movies, TV, video games, all kinds of stuff. So come back and see if you like some of that content. And in the meantime, keep collecting.